Hey girl, hey. Hey girl, hey. Hey boy, hey. I was in my yoga class. I had to get back here and get something to eat. I did ship out your Hey Girl, Hey shirts. I shipped out books. And now I'm home and I'm ravenous. I'm starving. So I had to warm up something to eat. I made a 4-bean soup and some brown rice. I'm warming up in the microwave. Deidre, I shipped out your stuff. Deidre, Terry, Davis. Hey girl, hey. Hey boy, hey. You see I haven't had a haircut yet. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig, the writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook Live version of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hitting the share button. I appreciate you guys hitting the share button on this video. It's down here on the left. But we got a couple things to talk about. We're going to start with this Aretha Franklin funeral, and then we're going to move on over to the thing that I posted today. I told you one of you, who shall remain nameless, sent me a message talking about a relationship, an 11-year relationship that you have had with an incarcerated man. Now, if you did not read that post, then saunter on over to that post. Now, I posted it a little earlier today. It's before all of that nonsense I was talking about Aretha's funeral and the people there at the funeral, okay? I posted it earlier. It was before I started talking about the funeral. No, it was after I posted that thing about Smokey Robinson's hair color. I posted it right after that. So, but all I'm going to say is it's about somebody who's in an 11-year relationship with a guy in prison, and he or she is asking me whether or not they should stay in this relationship. Okay, now I'm not going to go into reading it because you should have read it. But anyway, let me get my food, and then I'm going to come on back. Let me grab my food. Let me grab a little libation. Food and libation in my new bowls that Dr. Young got me. But all I will say is that funeral was way too long. Now, y'all laughing at these people that fell asleep and stuff in the service. But I'm going to tell you something. I was getting a little sleepy myself here at the house. Not to mention, I kept thinking if I was in that funeral, I would be hungry. I would have been hungry. But see, it was different me sitting here at home because I would get up, I'd make something to eat, I'd sit back down. I had the laptop. I was watching it on my laptop, the funeral. And so I would just take the laptop with me from room to room. I was doing laundry, which, by the way, let me check to see if my stuff is dry. And, and it's like, it's dry, but I'm going to put a little bit more heat on it. So anyway, I was doing laundry. I was staying busy. And I kept thinking, like, if I was in that funeral, I'd have been like, niece, are we going to get some food delivered in here? Like, they should have had the repast and the funeral all in that location. They should have been passing around hors d'oeuvres. They should have had floating waiters. Coming around talking about lamb chop. Would you like a lamb chop? Or what about a pot sticker? Like, they should have been serving food in there. Who do they think want to sit in there all that time without nothing to eat? Listen, they done planned everything else down to the T. They should have had a menu. They should have had a buffet going on. Father God, we thank you for the food we're about to receive. Let it be for the nourishment of our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. And please bless the hands that prepared it because they are mine. In Jesus' name, amen. Before I get too deep into this funeral, let me say this. They should have had a food truck or something, bitch. Can you pull up a food truck outside the auditorium so we can take little breaks and run out there and get a little chicken wing or something and come on back? You know I don't eat meat, so you know they wouldn't have had nothing for me. I'd have had to get on my broomstick to go get something to eat. I also posted on my page today that I have the new t-shirts, the So Much to Say podcast t-shirts. Bianca, my girl up in New Jersey, was the first person to order today. The link is up there on my page too. But anyway, first of all, the funeral was too long. It was nice at first. And it was too long. Shaka Khan should be ashamed of herself. If that lady didn't know the words, she should have stayed home. When did they let her know that they wanted her to sing? Yesterday? She should have had plenty of time to learn the words to that song. Did y'all see her reading the words on the back of that fan? You know this stuff is going on the docket for the Queen's Court on Monday. The lady then fell asleep at the church. Ariana Grande came in there with that little short-ass skirt on. Y'all trying to act like that pastor, which I believe might be part of the community. Y'all trying to act like that pastor was rubbing on that little girl's side of her titty. I think he was just trying to hug her. I think y'all be reading into stuff way too much. Not only did Shaka not know the words, Shaka was pitchy. Shaka was pitchy. She was sharp. Her notes were sharp. I don't mean she was dressed sharp. Her notes were sharp. This right here is really hard to... Like, you're supposed to push this down. There we go. It's so difficult, though. Her notes were sharp. She trying to be clandestine. Clandestine, there's a word for you. And read the words on the back of the fan. Girl, we see you reading the words on the back of that fan. And what was wrong with the signal? The satellite went out. There was an interruption. There was an interruption, so we lost the feed for a little while. Fantasia finally came out. That's the only person I really wanted to see sing, hear sing. Yolanda Adams did a good job. Ariana Grande started off a little sketchy. But y'all know Aretha chose everybody that performed. She chose all of the people that performed. Now, I don't know why Aretha's son got up there. Is he trying to get a record deal? Now, sir, we ain't heard you sing all of your mama's life, and now you want to sing? Faith Hill was horrible, too. I don't know if Faith Hill was nervous because all them black people were there. And she knew we were looking at her like, girl, don't fuck this up. But Faith Hill was a complete disaster. The only one that I really enjoyed was Yolanda Adams and Fantasia. Now, I know Paul Morton was up there with Yolanda Adams, but I don't really get into all that singing he be doing. It wasn't bad, but his voice is very Alicia Keys, you know. You can sing, but your voice just does nothing for me. Kind of like that. So, all in all, then you had Aretha with 3 costume changes. And she then went on to the afterlife. Like, on some level, that's kind of like corny to me. Like, to tell somebody, so listen, when I die, I want 3 outfit changes. I'm going to wear this one for the viewing, and wear this on the second day, and then on the day of the funeral, put me in this one. Like, What was that about? But I will say, it was very, very interesting. There were some things that I learned about Aretha that I did not know. There were some things that I did not know. I did not know that Aretha Franklin did a free concert. Did you get into that storytelling? They talked about how the civil rights movement was bankrupt. And they didn't have the money to pay the people. They didn't have the money to pay the employees that were working during, because you know everybody wasn't volunteering. They didn't have money to pay the employees that were doing, you know, working with the civil rights movement. They couldn't get a small loan from a small black bank because the black banks were too small. See, this is why I be telling y'all, get your asses over there and open up an account with a black bank. See, I got my black-owned bank account. See, it's shit like this that might pop up. See, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. And see, enough of us don't have black bank accounts for shit that matters like this. So, they couldn't get a loan from the black banks because they were too small and they didn't have the money to loan them. And the white banks weren't going to loan them money to help y'all with the civil rights movement. Why would they help y'all do that? See, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all got to start thinking critically. Y'all need to open up a black bank account between today and next Friday. I already got mine. And we did this a few months ago. You should have opened one then. I posted a list over in the group. So Much to Say Podcast Pen Pal group. I posted a link of every black-owned bank in this country. They ain't got to have one in your city. Go online and open it up. Just like y'all go online to do everything else. So, Aretha Franklin did an 11-city tour to make money, and she gave it to the civil rights movement. Isn't that amazing? She and Harry Belafonte. They donated money to the civil rights movement. They went to do, but here's the other thing. Now, see, listen. Now, white people don't get sensitive when I'm about to say this, because I'm going to say this. Now, white people don't get sensitive. But white people, and this is not all white people, but white people, they can be they can be nasty. So they knew what Aretha was doing, right? So they go to the venues where she was performing, and they putting tear gas, they throwing tear gas in the venue and blowing the fans so the tear gas so they can run the people out of the venue. White people, something. Don't be in your feelings. White people, don't be in your feelings. This is a part of y'all history. This is what y'all did. I mean, y'all did some evil shit. I mean, don't get mad with me telling me you're gonna buy my books. I'm just telling y'all this is what y'all did. May not have been you, but this is what your people did. So I didn't know that. That was a fun fact. Not really fun, but that was an interesting piece. But here's what I think. There were so many people that kept saying the same thing, right? So by the time they got down to Jesse Jackson's, I'm like, girl, we already know she was born in Memphis. She was raised in Detroit. We already know she started her record career when she was 12 or 14. We got it. Like, we don't need to keep hearing. Like, my thing is, this is the only thing that I would have really changed about it is, by the time we got down to, like, the third or fourth person, we don't need to hear the same stories. Because y'all just getting up there saying the same shit. We know how many Grammys she got. We already know the names of her songs. Like, don't keep coming up there saying the same thing. What I needed to hear, what I think they should have started doing was, like that pastor who said he lived next door to her, he and his wife, and she would call him over there at 1 o'clock in the morning to whatever. First of all, it burned my blood every time he said, 1 a.m. in the morning. A.M. means morning, sir. Keep saying that. He was like, yeah, because at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, sir, A.M. means morning. P.M. means evening. Like, don't keep saying that. Oh, I wanted to tap him. They'd be like, sir, stop saying that. But anyway, I did enjoy one of his stories, and that was the story when he said he asked Aretha to go to his mother's assisted living home and just say happy birthday to her. And catch this, Aretha said, I'll think about it. That's the most shit I'd have said. I'll think about it. So anyway, she ended up going there. So like that was a personal story that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the personal story that Al Sharpton gave when he said how Aretha sent him the check. And he framed the check. And she said, boy, don't you have a copy machine? Get you a copy machine and copy that. You better go ahead and put that check in the bank. Because the way I do my checks in my bank accounts, that money may not be there for you. Like I enjoyed stories like that. Don't keep giving us the stuff that we already know. Like the first 3 people have already told us this stuff. Like how many Grammys she got. Then here come Clive Davis 3 hours later saying the same shit that somebody said in the first hour of the funeral. Like we don't need to keep hearing the same stories. So give us like my thing is what I think they should have done was, okay, well these 3 people gonna give us the history of Aretha. The next 3 people you need to have personal stories. So what's your personal story that you're gonna tell? Okay, now what's the story you gonna tell? Okay, no, we don't want to hear that story. Do you have another personal story? Like give us the personal stories. Like don't nobody want to hear all that stuff? I enjoyed the story. I think she was a senator, and she said that Aretha called her and said, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That was a good personal story. Isaiah Thomas had a good personal story. Like, they were good personal stories, but all them same facts they kept giving us. Okay, this is too long. This funeral really could have been 3 hours. It really could have been 3 hours. Now, what was Tyler Perry talking about? Because I wasn't watching it when he... And it wasn't because I didn't want to hear what he wanted to say. I got a phone call. And so, I mean... But what was he talking about? He's talking about something about Medea. Child, he loves to insert himself. Girl, we know you created Medea. What's your personal story, ma'am? Niece, what's your personal story? He had to get up there and talk about Medea. Girl, we know you created Medea. What's your story? Oh, yeah, I love Medea. Girl, okay. What else is going on? But anyway, that's like if I got up there and be like, yeah, I met Miss Franklin and she loved my first book, Words Never Spoken, and then she loved the sequel too. One thing was like, girl! Anybody ask you to come up there and talk about this? Get to what you called them for. What they called you for. Like, get to that. I really enjoyed her niece. I don't remember her name. She was the one that got up there and talked about she graduated from Howard, but I was mad with her subject-verb agreement. She said, we're an educated family. But she kept saying something in I, and it should have been me. And I was like, oh, girl. And she said they graduated from Howard. And she said her daughter was at Howard, and somebody else was at Howard. But her subject-verb agreement was just a little bit off. But I wasn't mad with her because she was pretty fluent. Other than that, but I really enjoyed her personal story because she said basically she let you know that Aretha, girl, her subject-verb agreement being off ain't had nothing to do with her mourning. That's how she talked. But anyway, but she was really good. I enjoyed the personal story where she talked about, because she basically let you know that she paid for them to go to college. She paid for them to go to Howard. So I thought that was nice. I also enjoyed the pastor. I'm back on the pastor. That said he lived next door to her. He said this was a rich black woman, I enjoyed the one that kept saying 1 a.m. in the morning. I enjoyed the other part of the story too, when he said to the family, to her sons, he said, listen, what he was saying without actually saying it was, now y'all about to come into all this money. Don't be no fools. Don't be investing in a whole bunch of dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know Aretha didn't give them access to all that money. But now they got all of this money now. Don't be no fool. Take your time. Think about what you're going to do, because you're going to have a lot of relatives that's going to show up. You're going to have a lot of people coming up talking about, well, yeah, I got this idea to open up this business. So would you like to, you know what I mean? So he was like, call me if you need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because you know some of y'all come into money. Y'all get real ignorant. Some of y'all come into money, y'all get real ignorant. Girl, my sister came into about $11,000 a couple years ago. Bitch, you thought she came into $11 million. So she buying everybody cars. Girl, wait a minute. Girl, you got $11,000. Girl, the decimal is... Girl, wait a minute. You didn't get 11 million. She moved, bought new furniture. Niece, I know you were on drugs for 20 years, girl, but listen, that's $11,000. But you know, sometimes y'all get real ignorant. Y'all come into money and y'all don't know what to do with yourselves. I don't know what to do with yourself. See, white people, I talk about the black people, the truth too. I say the truth about black people too. Girl, she helped two people get a car, girl, with $11,000. She gave one person $2,500, another person $35,000. Girl, that's half your money right there. She helping with down payments. Girl, you ain't no philanthropist. What are you doing? That's $11,000. Like, what are you doing? And now she... Y'all be doing the most. $11,000. Girl. We got half of that in the GoFundMe. We got half that amount in the GoFundMe. Speaking of, it's Friday. Are y'all donating to the GoFundMe or what? I think I have about 5 people that donated today. One of which was my girl Patty. Now, Patty got upset with me the other day when I posted about McCain. My girl Patty got upset with me the other day when I talked about y'all posting about McCain, like he did so much for black people. Y'all R.I.P. McCain. So she got in her feelings and she got upset with me. Child, she unfriended me. She blocked me. You know my girl Patty used to be talking about my lips were so this and she wanted to kiss my lip. Girl, she had blocked me and everything. Said, you don't tell me what to post on my page. I'm like, niece, I didn't even know what you posted on your page. I'm just speaking from my heart, girl. I didn't know you had posted anything about McCain. I wasn't talking to you directly. Well, girl, my girl came over to the GoFundMe today and she made her donation today. And said, I'm still going to support my fellow writer. And I sent her a message on there and I said, niece, I appreciate you. And niece, I was not saying that you had to get off my page. I was just expressing my thoughts about McCain. But see, she believes in what I'm doing, so she still made her donation, and I appreciate that. Then some of you other children that are sitting up here parked every night at 9 o'clock ain't make no donation. Come to my city. Come to my city. Ain't made a donation yet. I'm done talking about y'all. I'm just saying, if y'all donate to the GoFundMe, the link is did I pin it? I didn't pin it, but it's in the caption. My website to donate is craigthewriterstewart.com. Y'all know the link. Once you get to the page, it says donate. That's the first thing you see. Well, anyway, let me move on to this next part. Kimberly Gaddis Martin. She said, send me the link to the GoFundMe. It's in the caption up here, but it's also CraigTheWriterStewart.com. Thank you, Kimberly, if she actually gonna donate. But listen, am I done talking about this funeral? Let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? And I knew Clive Davis was going to slither his ass up there. I don't know. Something about him I just don't. I don't know. Something about him I just don't like. No, the barber ain't come. Latasha Jones, I know you late because I said that at the beginning of the video. Yes, Datis donated. Yes, Datis donated. I posted the people who donated today. Because, you know, Clive Davis is connected to some of the biggest singers, black women singers that we know. Whitney. He was attached to Phyllis Hyman and Aretha. You know? And so, thank you, Kimberly. Oh, yeah, you did tell me about the corn, Kimberly. You sure did. Oh, Coco just donated. You got to step on the folks' toes for them to get them activated, to get them motivated. But, you know, like Phyllis Hyman died. I mean, I can't blame him for that because, you know, they said she was bipolar or something. But, I don't know. I just feel like, now this might be real kind of cynical, the way I'm about to say this and the way I was thinking today. But as I was watching the funeral, you know, they were talking about Aretha, and, you know, it's been said that she was worth like $80 million. Yeah, the barber is definitely fired. Saying she was worth like $80 million, you know, this, that, and the third. And then when Clive Davis got up on that stage, and I'm like, well, if she was worth 80, how much is he worth? Is he worth a whole bunch more than she is? And I just feel like, why... If she's the talent, like, I'm just so tired of us being robbed of our talent and our stuff. Like, she's the talent. Whitney was the talent. So, like, why you got more money than they have? Like, I can't really get with that. Coco, thank you for your $20 donation. Byrick, thank you for your $20 donation. Wendy Newman donated $5. Patty Scott donated $5. Datis donated $5. Somebody anonymously donated $5. Tasha Young donated $40. And that's all we got for today. So anyway, yeah, so that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. All right, so let's go over to this email that I got last night. So I got this email from one of you saying that you are involved with a married man. Now, many of you weighed in. Many of you weighed in on this because I posted it earlier and said that Bianca, I know you late because, see, I already talked about you were the first person to purchase the brand new T-shirt with the new So Much to Say artwork on it. I said that at the beginning, so I know you late. But I'm not going to rag on you since you were the first one to buy the T-shirt. So thank you. But don't be late no more, niece. If I'm here at 9, you be here at 9. I don't care if you got to run through traffic lights, speed, get a ticket. Be here, niece. But anyway, do I need to read this email? I know some of y'all read it, but I know some of y'all it's probably too long for some of y'all. Some of y'all be lazy, don't be wanting to read. That's why I recorded the first 2 books. Shameless plug. That's why I recorded the first 2 books on Audible. So you can just go over there and type in my name and I'll read them for you. All right, so let me read this. So I said, this is the email that I got from one of you. Hey, girl, hey. May I ask for your opinion on the situation I'm facing? It's a long story, but I will share a brief synopsis. I have been involved with a man for about 11 years now. He's everything I want in a man. Now watch this. I mean everything. Lizzie, you can use that. Hey, niece. Hey, niece. So then he or she goes on to say, I would marry him in a heartbeat. Only thing is, he's incarcerated and has been... What, girl? He's incarcerated. Only thing is, girl, that's not only. Girl, that's huge. That's not no only thing. Only thing is, he's incarcerated and has been way before I even met him. Girl, well, how did you meet him? Through a pen pal program? Online? How'd you meet him? Do y'all have conjugal visits? Conjugal for the GED section is when you can go to the jail and have sex with the person and then go home. So did he target you? Like, how did you meet him? Well, you didn't meet him. I mean, so let me get this right. So the first time, because I'm assuming you've been to visit him in jail. So your first blind date was in the visiting room? What is that like? Have you ever been on a blind date and you first walk up to the person and you feeling like awkward because you've never seen the person and you wondered if they like you and you, of course, looking at them like, do I like you? And you like, so can you imagine how awkward that had to have been going into the visiting room and meeting for the first time and then trying to find things to talk about? Even though you've talked on the phone. Like, so who paying for these collect calls? You paid for collect calls from a stranger? Okay, let me go back to the beginning. Because I know I done threw some of y'all off. Let me get my last little spoonful. Hold on. And some of y'all need to stop judging because y'all dealing with a man right now that's in jail. Y'all so judgy. Ooh, y'all judgy. Hold on, let me just chew this food up. Hold on. Oh, look over here in the Cash App. Tanya Dyzik and Kawada Santana Henson both donated $5. Thank you very much for supporting the So Much to Say book tour. Now back to this email. I'm going to start from the beginning. Hey girl, hey. May I ask your opinion on the situation I'm facing? It's a long story, but I will share a brief synopsis. I have been involved with a man for about 11 years. He's everything I want except free. He's everything I want in a man. I mean everything. I would marry him in a heartbeat. Only thing is he's incarcerated and has been away. That's what that's supposed to say. And he's been away even before I knew him. It was one of those online connections that just evolved over time. Y'all love to romanticize something. And I say y'all because I know I've been there before, you know what I'm saying? But I like to put it on y'all. It was one of those online connections that just evolved over time. I know it may sound cliche, sure does. But he really is everything one could ask for in a man. No, I could ask for more. I need him to be free. I need him to be gainfully employed. I need him to be educated. I need him to be integral. I need him to be able to bring some money into this household. I need him to be affectionate. I need him to be able to admit when he's wrong. I need him to be able to apologize. I mean, I can think of a litany of things. that he could be. The reason I'm conflicted is because I know deep down that he is my better half. Oh. Oh. You know he's your better half. So, niece, why are you emailing me if you know this? We ain't conflicted by a thing that we're certain of. We're not conflicted when we're certain. I just told you guys the other week, doubt means don't. That was Oprah that said that. Oprah said doubt means don't. So if you're doubting it, the reason I'm conflicted is because I know deep down that he is my better half, but he's in there for life. He's in there for life. Girl, you just need a pen pal. If he in there for life, y'all can't do nothing but have conversation. And you go there for visits. You just need company or something. You just need company. Now y'all stop judging. I'm doing all of the judging that we need to do. Okay, don't be in here judging. I got it. Trust me. Y'all supposed to just be listening. So then the email reads, he is another victim. Look. She or he making excuses. Watch this. He is another victim of the injustices that black people have been facing in this country. Girl, don't try to pull me in with this. Let me read that sentence right there again for y'all. He is another victim of the injustices. Well, girl, maybe Ava DuVernay should have put him in 13. She should have put him in that documentary. Maybe we need to hear his story. Girl, he was locked up before you met him. How you know? Girl, how you know he innocent? You only know what this man told you. Anyway, let me keep going. He was at the wrong, she's still defending. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time and with an all-white jury. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all love to make excuses for these motherfuckers that you know ain't shit. Y'all love to make excuses for these people. It was an all-white jury, wrongfully convicted and sentenced to life. Girl, I guess she got a law degree. Girl, how you know? You the forensic girl. She swears she was there when it happened. Now, remember, going back to the beginning, he's been locked up since before they met. So, girl, how you know? How do you know any of this? I didn't say it was a woman. It could be a woman or a man who wrote this email. You know, I just be saying girl and niece, you know. I stayed by his side for as long as I did because I had faith that his case will eventually get exonerated. Remember that term I told you guys about magical thinking? Magical thinking. So he or she stayed in this relationship because she believed or he believed that it was going to be, let me go over here to this GoFundMe because Kimberly is like, baby, go over here to this GoFundMe and see what's over here at this GoFundMe. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm coming back to the email. You know I like to give y'all a little pause so y'all can reflect. I'm coming back to the email. I just want y'all to kind of stew on that for a minute. All right. Come on, Kimberly, with the $50 donation. And Kamika Green, $10 donation. All right, now we just below $6,000. I remember we used to do 1,000 in a night. She says, he said, okay, let me just clear it up. It's a guy who actually sent me this. It's not a girl, okay? I stayed by his side for as long as I did because I had faith that his case would eventually get exonerated. Well, 11 years later, and he's still in there. And you've basically lost 11 years of your life waiting and hoping and dreaming and praying that he'd be exonerated. I have tried to move on with my life, but he somehow always finds a way back into it. Well, girl, he ain't got nothing but time. He ain't got nothing but time to sit there and figure out how to weasel his way back into your life. He got all day to write letters and call from his correctional facility to your house. Girl, how much is that phone bill? I have tried dating after breaking it off with him on a few occasions. Girl, what is there to break off? He's in jail. Girl. I have tried dating. Girl, I just need to be reading this for some of y'all because, like, if you wrote your stuff down on paperwork like this, you could really figure some of this stuff out for yourself. Because if somebody had read this to you about somebody else, you'd have been like, bitch, are you stupid? So anyway, I have tried dating after breaking it off with him on a few occasions, but I find myself always comparing men to him. Well, girl, there ain't nothing to compare. They're free. He's in jail. They're already ahead of the game. And just wishing they were him. Am I a fool for... Am I a fool for... Wait, I'm looking for something. Am I a fool for saving myself for him? Hoping that he would one day get out? What would you do? What would I do? Well, girl, I wouldn't have never taken his phone call. Please share with the pen pals on your next live, that's tonight, so I can also get their thoughts. I ask to remain anonymous. Please. I appreciate you. Now, what y'all think? Now, I'm going to tell you what I think in a moment, but what y'all think? Did y'all hit the share button? Because it's a girl that's on your timeline that needs to hear me talk about this right now. Because she right now packing up her kids that she got with another man to go down to a jail to see this bum. Or she met some man in jail and she thinking he gonna be with her when he gets out. Or he, because remember I said this is from a guy. This email is from a guy. This is not a woman that wrote this email. Let me say this. So those of you that have been listening to my podcast, you remember a podcast called Prison Culture. I did a podcast about this. Mia, girl, you late, girl. I didn't talk about the funeral for the first 30 minutes of the live. They kill me coming in here late and then me asking for conversation like they've just assumed that they know what I've already talked about. She's about, okay, when we going to talk about the funeral? Girl, we did that the first 30 minutes. Anyway, so the conversation that I did on my podcast, So Much to Say. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. I had three guys on there, but two of whom were both in prison for over 20 years. One of them was my brother. He spent 23 years in jail. The other was my cousin's husband, who spent 21 in jail. 21 years. They both talked about lifers. We talked about a series of things. Thank you, Leela, for ordering the brand new t-shirt, the So Much to Say podcast t-shirt. I appreciate you. And Bianca. Looks at all of the other people. So, we talked about a series of things on that podcast. I'm telling you, I always try to give you guys conversation on the podcast, which is free. The podcast is free. So that you can apply this stuff to your life. You can think about it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not going through it right now, I try to make them all interesting. Well, on this particular podcast called prison culture. They talked about how the drug trade in the jail, how they move drugs through the prison. Thank you, Shakika. How they move drugs through the prison, how these males are in relationships with each other in the prisons, how these prisoners are sometimes in relationships with the female correctional officers, how the female correctional officers be fighting and shit over these men that are in jail. Like, we talk about all this. One of the things that they talked about in their podcast is the lifers. They call prisoners who are serving a life sentence lifers. And they said the lifers are the ones who have the most relationships. Come on, Sheree. Now you pick Sheree McFarlane. You picking up what I'm putting down. This is a form of survival for him, for a lot of them. Now, I'm going to tell you, now I can't speak to this, but I'm just telling you, niece, there's a pretty good chance he's just using you to do his time. Faith Evans got a song on that same album that I was just telling you about the other week with the guy who liked me, and it was 2 weeks in or a week in, he gave me the toothbrush. It's a song on there called Do Your Time, Faith Evans. But anyway, one of the guys on my podcast said less than a third of the men that are in jail that are going to get out, less than a third of them maintain those relationships with those women that they're in relationships with when they get out. They just use these women, or men in this case, to spend their time. Here's what I'm trying to get at. One of the things they said also was, these men don't even always write these letters that they send into you because they don't want to get emotionally invested. So, say for instance, me and my brother are in jail, and I'm dealing with somebody that's outside of the jail. I'll have him write the letter. Because A, his handwriting may be better than mine. B, because I don't want to get emotionally tied into you. So I have him write the letter. And so in exchange for him writing the letter for me, I may have to give him some food. Or I may have to give him some cigarettes. Like, there's a barter. It's an exchange. And so they said they try not to look at pictures of people. Like, they try not to get too connected because it's a mental battle being in there. So when these men are on life sentences, this is for all of them. But in particular, when he was saying, like, these men that are on these life sentences or these 20-year sentences or these 10-year sentences, it's a scam for them. It's a game for them. They talking to multiple people. And the reason that the men that are on these lifelong sentences, these lifers, the reason they have the most sentences, the most relationships, is because you all think that because they have a life sentence that they ain't dealing with nobody else. And you feel comfortable being in a relationship with a man that's on a life-term sentence because it gives you comfort and thinking, oh, well, at least I know where he is. He can't possibly be dealing with anybody else. Girl, sir, ma'am, niece, you are one of many. And if you sending him money, he got 2 or 3 other bitches sending him money, male and female. Trust and believe it. You are a part of a hustle. And again, it's just something to kind of spend their time and to do their time. So my suggestion to you is to figure out how to disconnect your heart from the situation and move on. To me, the hardest part of this for you is not his lifelong sentence. The hardest part is you trying to hold on to something. You're trying to fantasize something. You're trying to romanticize this thing to be bigger than it is. Like, I understand you can have an emotional connection with someone, but you're doing yourself a disservice because you don't even you're robbing yourself, niece. Because you don't even have companionship. You don't have companionship. If something was to go wrong with you tomorrow, well, he can't come do nothing for you. He can't come help you. You can't call him. You got to sit and wait for him to call you. If you went into the hospital tomorrow, what are you going to do? He can't call collect to the hospital. Like, you're robbing yourself. And you said you tried to go on and meet other people, but you keep comparing other people. Like, what is there to compare? What is there to compare? Like, I mean, have you fucked them? I think you've created this story in your mind about who he is and who you want him to be in your life, in this emotional connection. Like, so nobody on the outside world will ever live up to him because you've built this man up to be who you want him to be. It's almost like meeting people, and I talk about this in my first book. It's like when I used to meet people on the chat line. Not the chat line, but online. Before you actually hear the person's voice, all you have is the messages that they're sending you, the messages that you're reading. So when you're doing that, and I talk very specifically about this in the first book, when you're reading those messages and you're sending those messages back and forth, a part of the illusion is what you've created in your mind, because you've never heard the person speak. So you done already created in your mind how you think that person sounds just from reading their messages. You've never seen them gesticulate, gesture. You've never seen their idiosyncrasies. So part of it is a fantasy that you've created in your head, in your mind. And so even though you're talking to this man on the phone and he's probably sending you letters every 2 days, child, because he ain't got nothing else to do with his time. And that's the other thing. They recycle these letters too. So the same letter that he's sending you, he's sending it to somebody else. He just put a different address on it and a different name. Good night. But you only see one side of him. You don't get to see him upset. Because I'm sure every time he calls you, he's probably in a good mood because he's on the phone with you and he probably asking you for some shit. Can you send me some commissary? Or, I want some of those sneakers. And you probably sending sneakers and hoodies and child, good night. But my point is, you don't get the full landscape of this person. You don't know his whole personality. So of course he's perfect in your eyes, with the exception of being locked up. So nobody in the real world is gonna be able to compare to him, because there's a side of him that you've never even met. You don't even know him. So I don't know what else to tell you. My hope is that you will understand and realize and recognize what you're worth. Leela works in a prison, and I hope you recognize what you're worth, because you're probably not the only one. And again, there's a show called Love After Lockup. And these women and men on this show fell in love with convicts. They show how not all of them were scams on this show, but many of them were. They were just trying to bid their time and just have some emotional support and just have something to do. Like, it's a game for them. It's fun. It's something to occupy their mind, and because they're not going anywhere. Yes, it's on TLC. That show, Love After Lockup, is on TLC. Niece, go watch that. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you other than that. But also, go and listen to that podcast that I just told you about. It's called Prison Culture. My podcast is free. It's called So Much to Say. It's on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher. We come back with brand new shows starting Monday at 10 a.m. But the show's archived, so you don't have to be listening right at 10 a.m. So all of the shows that I've done previously, they're already up there. So just go and listen to that podcast. It's called Prison Culture. And for all you know, he probably got a relationship in that jail. Because if he's in there for... listen, sir. If he's in there for life, trust and believe, he getting busy. He getting busy. Trust and believe. He ain't waiting... he ain't waiting for you. And listen, they don't give conjugal visits for gay relationships that I'm aware of. So you ain't getting no conjugal visits nowhere. What, you reaching under the table to try to jack them off and stuff? You can't even do that in them noisy visiting rooms. Listen, I've been in them visiting rooms. It's been years. Last time I was probably in the jail, I was 17. Going to visit my brother. And all this in there is some children, loud-ass babies crying, and baby's mothers, as they say in Baltimore. Baby mothers with a V. But yeah, no. You need to find you something to do. You need to cleanse yourself and start over and regroup. But, you know, here's my other thing that I will say to you. You need to do some soul searching and figure out what was going on with you that you allowed yourself to lower your standards, your inhibitions, whatever, that allowed you to be okay with dating a motherfucker that ain't even out in the world. Like, what was going on? Did somebody die in your family and maybe you were just in a fragile point in your life? Had you lost your job? Like, had you just come out of a relationship? Because I believe that a lot of times we make these poor decisions out of loneliness or because we're at a vulnerable spot in our life. Just like when you see these shows, what's the show where the people be hoarders? You know, like most of them people, when you look at the show, like there's a psychological component to that and to this. When them people hoard like that, it's usually because they're trying to conceal some sort of, they try not to let go of a pain. It's an emotional pain. There's some sort of an emotional trauma. And like a lot of times with the show Hoarders, death was involved. Like a spouse died or a parent died or a child died. And then these people just start collecting things. It starts with collecting the personal things of the person that died. And they just start collecting these things. They don't want to get rid of things. And then it just kind of bleeds over into other areas of their life. So you have to do some soul searching and figure out why. Because I do truly believe that we date at the level of our self-esteem. So if your self-esteem is down here, you're going to date down here. If your self-esteem is up here, this is where you're going to date. And it's just as simple as that. Now listen, it's Friday. I done been to yoga. I'm sweating. I need to shower. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. You know how to purchase the books. One book is $20, $236, $354. My Cash App ID is The Writer. The books are also available on all e-readers. You can download it from any e-reader. I narrate the first two on Audible. So you can go to audible.com, type in Craig Stewart, or type in the titles of the books. The books are also available through Amazon. We got the brand new So Much to Say podcast t-shirts available with the new design, the new artwork. The link is on my page in here somewhere around that Aretha Franklin funeral conversation I was posting in here. Brush your teeth, brush your tongue. I shipped out some things today. Some of you will get some stuff tomorrow. Some will get stuff Tuesday. Don't forget Tuesday. Monday is the holiday. So don't be worrying me on Monday. Tell me, well, I ain't getting my stuff. Girl, I ain't got nothing to do with that. It's the federal holiday. Girl, they don't deliver on Monday because it's a holiday. I got ringtones. Thank you, Tasha Young. The ringtones are on my website, CraigTheWriterStewart.com. Everything you need is CraigTheWriterStewart.com. The ringtones are over there. The GoFundMe to support this book tour so I can come to these cities that y'all in. What else is over there? The books are over there. Yes. Brush your teeth, brush your tongue. Get down on your knees, say your prayers. Ask for clarity. Ask for clarity in your prayers. Ask God to give you the vision and continue to bless you with the ability to make sound decisions and the ability to reason. Right. Ask God if you're looking for direction. You don't know what your next job is supposed to be, your next move in life. Ask God, dear God, what is it that you would have me know? What is it that you would have me learn? What are the next best steps? Those are questions that I always pray. Dear God, what is it that you want me to do next? What are the next steps? What are the next steps? All right? Brush your teeth, brush your tongue. Don't forget to coconut oil. Do your oil pulling. I still do mine. And then I'll be on here tomorrow sometime. Tomorrow is Saturday. I don't have a specific time on Saturdays. Just turn on your notifications and then I'll pop up. And I'll be like, hey, girl, hey. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressors, and dreamers. Right? All right, so have an amazing weekend. Be safe. Hopefully I said something that will resonate for you. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for supporting the books. Thank you for supporting the GoFundMe. I appreciate you immensely. All right? Bye.